All right then, my loves. Okay, everybody hit play on your playlist. You can play it on a separate device or on this very one. And I would love for you just to start today on your backs, actually, in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is soles of the feet together, knees out wide. And now just remembering that the aim of the yin practice is to find stillness. That's often the challenge. Sometimes the poses are actually quite straightforward. You won't feel too much sensation, so the mind will start playing tricks on you. Other times we find that we can really feel deep sensation and we want to meet our edge. So make your intention for the practice just to stay with yourself today. I'm being attacked by one of my plants. Sorry about this, I'm going to move it. So yeah, anchor into that intention. So quite often that is the challenge with yin, is that we struggle to be receptive to the experience of yin. So let's just make that our intention for today. Let's all be receptive to the experience, be open to the experience, be open to what is coming in. So if you've just come in, just coming down onto your back, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Now, if this is too much on your hips or legs, as this is yin, if you have two blocks, then just place them just underneath the sides of the knees. That's always a nice option in the yin practice, or some pillows or whatever you have handy, or just leave them as they are. I know a lot of you have quite a strong practice, so you might be okay just like this. So just opening the hips up and closing into the eyes, melting the shoulders away from the ears slightly, and just accepting what is. So again, being very open and receptive to the experience of getting into the deep connective tissues of our body. Now, the deep connective tissues sit in the lower part of our body, and we can really feel this when we do groundwork, floor work in the yin practice, and we work through our fascia. We release fascia, which is our communication network in our body, so it makes us feel pretty amazing, but at the time it can release emotions, it can release toxins and emotions at the same time. So just allow yourself to feel everything. And one of the aims is not to move, not to fidget, not to let the mind take you elsewhere. So that is one of the biggest challenges in this kind of a practice. So just give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. Feel the breath expanding as it starts to move through you, as the residue of your weekend sits in your body. Start to invite some lightness of being by just imagining that you are floating. Instead of being heavy, you're floating, and you're weightless and you're suspended. You're not dependent on anything. You're dependent on nothing. A bit like when you are in water and you can hold your breath for a long time. And place the palms on the lower belly if that calls your name, and start to feel the breath expand and contract. Feel the breath move through you. And just acknowledge if the breath wants to go deeper without forcing it. Now, for some of you, it will go deeper all on its own. For some of you, it will take a little bit longer, and that's not anything to worry about. That's just the body doing its thing. The body has a bit of an inner knowing, and it knows when it's ready for things and when it's not. So just respect that about your body. Just give it a little bit of respect for having that knowing. And then if you still can't feel the breath coming into the belly, then just place 2 fingers into the navel center and it will start to go there on its own. And then use that visualization technique. So just imagine the breath going deep, knowing that where your attention goes, your energy flows. And then just know and just imagine that you're oxidizing every cell in your body. Now, we are doing that with every breath that we take, but it helps to actually visualize it. It helps to really bring that into fruition by visualizing every one of your cells. You have trillions of cells in your body, trillions and trillions. And you're oxidizing every one. So every breath means a lot to your body. It means so much that we just have this notion of it being voluntary or involuntary, and it's mostly involuntary. And when that happens, we almost forget it's going on. So taking every breath as a voluntary move, and know that you are giving back to your body with every voluntary breath you take. And then come back to that intention of being receptive to what is, opening up energetically to the practice of yin, opening up to that communication network, that inner compass, that guidance system that takes you where you need to be. And then with the palms on the lower belly, really start to isolate the breath so that you can feel the breath moving into the palms. Now you'll hear my voice, a lot of you, but sometimes the mind will take you away from where we're at, out of this room. So you'll hear kind of snippets of what I'm saying. See if you can really absorb what I'm saying into your body, again, into your cells. I'm here to help. And just feel the receptive quality of your body, of your breath, of your skin, of your vital organs. Just notice how much your body wants to invite everything good in and let go of anything toxic, anything bad, physically, emotionally. Toxins will be released, toxic things, toxic people, toxic ways of being. Your body wants to let go, let go, let go, let go. So just let it do that. And then start to fill the breath up. Start to fill the lower belly up for 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause. Linger in that space of nothingness. And then exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Linger at the bottom in that nothing, a space of nothing. And then inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, linger, hold. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, just linger here, stay in that nothing, because the nothing is something. Inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, get curious about staying with yourself. Become aware of your body a little bit more. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out. Stay with yourself. Again, be receptive to the sensation of holding the breath out. Open yourself up to that feeling. And then pull the breath in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing, linger in the pause. And then this time, open the mouth. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Release the breath out. And then return to the natural rhythm of the breath as you anchor back into that intention of staying with yourself and being receptive to what is. Open yourself up to what's next, what's new and good. And just remind yourself of what is new and good right now. What is new and good and true and beautiful for you in this moment, in this body, in this breath. There's a lot, I can see it all. And then slowly start to extend the legs for me and extend the arms alongside the ears. Take a full body stretch as you use the inhale to pull yourself up and feel that expansion and breath into the side waist, into the space in between the ribs and the ribs themselves. Lovely. Stay for the exhale and then slowly just taking the left wrist, with the right hand, and then bow over just the upper body over to the right. If you want to take it further, then walk the feet over to the right and cross the left leg over the right. And then breathe into the left side body. And just feel the breath again moving through you. Feeling the lower belly expand and contract. And you can take it a little bit deeper, but knowing that we're going to be staying here for a little while, just meet yourself where you are. Know to stay with the sensations. And again, I want you to imagine that instead of your body feeling heavy and rooted, I want you to imagine that you are floating and that you're weightless. Because we can have both. We can root and we can rise. I know I always bang on about that. But you feel those points of contact, and you also feel this sensation of being light and lifted. And that's your spiritual body, as opposed to your physical body. Your physical body, you'll feel the points of contact on that. Your spiritual body will feel light. Some of you might even feel like it's rising up out of your body. That is something that happens in the yin class sometimes. You can feel your energy rising. And it's just your energy moving through your body. If anyone was in my class, I think on Thursday, we experimented with that a little bit. You can feel your energy. It sounds like I'm being woo, but it's actually science. You can feel the physical kinetic energy that moves inside of you, move out of your body. And that's the thing that people experience when they meet you. That's the energy they pick up on. And that's what you pass on to others all the time. That's why it's important to keep checking in with that, because we're like sponges in that sense. And now just feel the points of contact on the earth. Feel the rooting of the points of contact and the rising of the breath and that kinetic energy. The muscles, the bones, the ligaments, tissues, and every cell. Breathe to it. Start to deepen the breath if the mind has run away. And then slowly start to wiggle yourself back to center and release any bind that you have. And just take a full body stretch. Expand through the side waist, expand the fingertips, spread through the fingers, and then slowly wiggle the body over to the other side. And just taking the opposite bind. And just again, starting at the easier end of the spectrum, so that you're knowing that you're going to be holding this for a little while. And if you want to deepen the pose, then just crossing the legs. And just let the breath be your cue to invite yourself back if the mind's run away. And just remembering that that is the practice. Interrupting the thinking mind is the practice. So don't judge yourself if you catch yourself getting lost in thought. Catching yourself is what you need to be doing. Lovely. Just steady the breath now. Come back to that intention if the mind is wandering. And then slowly, when you're ready, just start to wiggle everything back. And then again, take a full body stretch. So just extending through the arms, extending through the feet, and then hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug, big squeeze. Lovely, and just hug the forehead to the knees and squeeze everything in. Lovely, just rocking now left to right a little bit, just gently. Just pausing here. Lovely, and then slowly plant the soles of the feet to the floor. And then just stack the right ankle on top of the left thigh for me. Kind of take a thread the needle. So start to reach the arms through just to grab the left shin or the back of the thigh, or if you feel like your arms don't have much length, that's a polite way of saying if your arms are short, mine are a little bit, then grab the ankle side of the leg. That will help you, and then draw that right knee away from you a little bit and pause, knowing that you're going to be staying here for a little while. Just come to a place of comfort. Come to a place of ease and a place of stillness. That's the practice, finding that stillness within you. And that's really important, because I always say this to some of my clients that I coach, creatives, that your mind is like water. It's like a lake that is really, and when it's still, if you threw a little tiny pebble in there, you'd see ripples. Those are your ideas. Those are your plans. If you have a mind that's busy and it's like crashing waves, you could throw like a boulder in there and you wouldn't see the ideas coming through, the ripples, you wouldn't see anything. And that is just like your mind. And these connective tissues that you're getting into right now, by moving that energy, that chi, letting it flow in the way that you are in this position, you'll still the mind at the same time, because your focus becomes more in your body. It becomes more feeling than doing. So just let that be, just let that settle in. And again, just imagine the breath going really deep and oxidizing every cell in the body. And the breath wants to go to the really deepest realms of your body. Just imagine it going that deep and it will go there. Lovely. Slowly plant that foot to the floor. And then cross into the legs as if you're sitting in a chair. So cross that. That's it. Really nice. So you, so as if like you're sat up in a chair, not on the floor. So just cross it over. I'll demo it. I'm demoing. Just like that. And then just dropping the knees over and gazing over in the opposite direction. So finding that place that feels good. So you're dropping the knees over to the left, gaze over to the right. Now go easy, let the twist find you, because you're going to be here for a little while. So again, that's it, guys. Start at the easier end of the spectrum. And just let that twist melt in. Let yourself wring out the weekend. Wring out the toxins. I'm not looking at anyone, Debbie. Just letting the weekend or Friday night leave the system. This is very good for that. Lovely. And just feel the expansion and contraction of the breath. Breathe to the space in between the ribs. And just notice the sensations of staying in your twist as opposed to being there and knowing that you're going to be guided out. Just feel, get curious about everything you're feeling. Melt in. Just come back to the breath if your mind's run away. Lovely. About 10 more breaths to go. Make them count. And then slowly start to unravel, come all the way back up. Lovely. And then just unravel the legs, extend the arms, extend the legs, and just release and breathe into the side waist. Really lovely, guys. And then just slowly taking it to the other side, left foot on top of right shin this time, and then interlace the hands wherever feels good. So to the ankle or to the shin or behind the right thigh, wherever feels okay, and just pause and breathe here. And you're encouraging the knee away from you. So the left knee is encouraged away from you. So you're opening into that left hip. And again, just come back to the breath. Lovely. Just notice the sensation. And then when you're ready, just lower the right foot down, palm, sole of the foot down, and then cross the left leg over the right, like you're sitting in a chair. Scooch the pelvis over to the left, drop the knees over to the right, gaze over to the left. Just notice the breath, explore the body in this shape. Notice where it wants to go. And again, being receptive to the energy you're creating and feeling. And then when you're ready, just slowly guiding yourself back up, unraveling the legs. Really lovely, guys. Beautiful. And just extending through the arms and the legs. Really nice. And then hugging knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. And then just slowly rocking yourself all the way up to sit in your own time. Lovely, without disturbing the central nervous system too much. So if you would like to grab a blanket or a cushion, then go ahead. We're just going to come into butterfly pose. So soles of the feet together, knees dropping out. And to adjust this pose, shift from the hips and not from the feet. I know I always bang on about that, but safety first. And then if you want to go deep with this pose today, then just wrap the forearms underneath the shin as opposed to in front of them. So soles of the feet together and just wrap the forearms just under. Actually, can you see me? You can. My hands are here. And then you come all the way in. So it's like you're giving yourself a bit of a twisty hug. Lovely. So letting the head go. Now, if you have a cushion or something to support your head and your neck or a block, then that's also encouraged. Don't worry if you don't. It's just helpful for the neck and the head. Well done, Chris. It's a bit of an exploration then. Lovely, guys. Breathe. Just letting go. Breathe into the hip. And then again, this is the hardest bit, the finding a place to find the stillness. So just finding a place of comfort and ease, right? Because you know you're going to be here for a little while. And just feel the sensations, let them be. Try not to label them as negative. Just label them as sensations, which are what they are. And they're there because really your body needs to feel it. Your body needs to meet its edge from time to time. And if your hips are talking a bit, which sometimes they do, they're getting a bit loud, then just breathe to where you're feeling the sensation the most. And just anchor into the impermanence of things, get comfort in that. Just sensation, that's all it is. Just deepen the breath whenever it feels like your mind has run away. And again, come back to those trillions of cells that you're oxidizing. Always helps. Always helps invite the breath in a bit more. slowly start to guide yourself up with an inhale. Take you all the way up. Lovely. And then release that bind and just walk the hands behind you slightly, spider the fingertips, and just melt the shoulders down the back and just release the head slightly. And then slowly start to extend through the legs for me. So just extending the legs, walking yourself back up, and then slowly taking a forward fold over straight legs. You can grab a bolster if you have one, any cushions. You can make a little mountain, because it's not about reaching and finding length and grabbing the toes. We really want to soften into the tissues. We don't want to be using muscle. We want to be using connective tissue, so we don't need to be flexing. So slowly starting to forward fold over those legs whenever you're ready. Lovely. And then if you have any cushions or anything there to support you, then go for it. If you have a bolster, you can place long ways on your legs. Amazing. Hold on, Debbie, like that. So just feeling the sensations in the space between the vertebrae of the spine. Now breathe to those places. Breathe to the back body. Just resisting the urge to move. Finding that complete stillness. And then noticing that there are 3 parts to your breath, like a beginning, a middle, and an end. And just linger in each part, and then stay in the nothing between each inhale and each exhale. Got about 10 more breaths to go in this pose, so just make each breath count again. And then slowly walking your hands back up. Lovely. And then just removing the props you have in front of you. And then just walking the palms forward, big toe bones are going to touch. We're going to find a child's pose. So letting the knees drop out. Big toe bones touching, that's it. And then extending the arms forward and then letting the arms feel heavy. And again, in this child's pose, if you have a block or a blanket, then just place it underneath your forehead and then just let the arms go. Now, again, in this particular posture in a yin practice, sometimes people don't feel a huge amount of sensation. And that is the challenge almost in this, because if you're someone that has a regular vinyasa practices as opposed to you frequent a lot, then you really have to check in with the mind. You really have to be strict with yourself in this kind of a pose in a yin practice, because your body is used to it. You're not strengthening new neural pathways in that sense. So you really have to check in. You really have to make sure the mind isn't just going at breakneck speed to the next thing. Just invite it back. Remember that analogy of the water. You want it to be as still as you possibly can get it, so that those ideas can flourish and you can move to the next chapter of your life with a bit more ease, a bit more fluidity, and a bit more certainty. Anchored in the knowledge and the knowing that every choice you make will either make your body expand or contract. Is it an expansive idea, or is your body contracting at the idea? And you'll feel it, you'll know, you'll always know, especially if you have a practice like this. And then maybe just rock the head from left to right, if that feels okay. And now I'm going to give you options. Some of you can stay here if you're quite happy here. Some of you might want to just face the long end of your mat and find a nice frog pose, which I'll demo quickly. You may want to fold up your mat just for a bit of extra padding for your knees. I've got a bit of a yin mat situation going on, so I'm all right. But taking the knees in line with the hips and the hips in line with the knees. So legs are nice and wide. As you can see, I look like a frog, especially as I'm wearing green. I thought that one out. I didn't really, honestly. And then maybe you lower the forearms down, but just making sure the hips aren't sneaking forward as you come down. And again, you can grab a little pillow and place your forehead there. But just feel the sensation in the hips. Now, if this is too much, you can stay in a child's pose, or you can come back to the pose we did at the beginning of the practice, which is Sukha Baddha Konasana, which is shoulder the feet together and the knees dropping out. So lots of options. This is a very, this whole sequence has been aimed at a bit of lower back love, as I've noticed there's been a lot of complaints in that area of the body recently. So just releasing that part of the body is so good. Lovely, and just settling in. About 10 more breaths to go, just make them count. And then slowly guiding yourself out, nice and easy. Go easy on yourself coming out, really nice. Walking your hands up, really nice. And then sending sit bones back, drawing the legs in. Really lovely, guys. Now, option to extend your legs against the wall if you have one handy. If not, place a block or a pillow underneath your sacrum and send the legs up towards the sky, just to find waterfall. Just very releasing place just to finish the practice. The wall is amazing if you have one. And just noticing that the legs will start to feel heavy, cactus the arms, but just soften everywhere. Soften the shoulders down the back, softening the face. And just making those micro adjustments that cue the body that shift your stress perception. You just tell the body that you're not under any threat. You are safe from danger and you wish to restore. And then whenever you're ready, start to lower the legs down. Or if you wish to take your Shavasana here, then obviously go ahead. Otherwise, get yourself super comfy. Grab any layers that you might need, any cushions, any props. If you have a bolster, maybe place it just underneath your knees and just dropping into the sweetness of Shavasana, the best pose in the whole world. And just feeling the residue of the weekend, the residue of your practice doing its thing. Just let the body breathe. And again, oxidize every cell. So you just allow yourself some stillness, some quietude, some space and time just for you and your body. That gift of time to do nothing. And just stay with yourself. You can stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you need. If you wish to come out, then just invite the breath back in and just find spaciousness in the way that you're breathing. Feel the lungs expand and contract. And then again, use that visualization of oxidizing every cell and being receptive to that energetic shift and your body and your breath. And then slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes and extend the arms alongside the ears, big stretch. And then when you're ready, just hug the knees into the chest, give yourself a squeeze, forehead to knees. And then slowly just roll to the right side of the body and pause. Steadying the breath in, steadying the breath out. And maybe just inviting that intention of being receptive to what is into the week ahead as you slowly guide yourself all the way up to sit. And then growing through the crown and rooting down through the seat. Just feeling the energy moving through you. And again, being receptive to everything that comes before you and just acknowledging to find that space where you can find a resistance and a non-attachment to an outcome. So that's something else that we need to really adapt to, is non-attachment. So being receptive with non-attachment to an outcome. And then slowly bringing the palms to heart center. And then bowing your chin to your chest. Just acknowledging the energy moving through you. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you, my loves.